so weeks 4, 5 and 6. So I started using more tools this time, inspired from the weeks before, week 3, and Jerin's lovely video. So that was kind of cool to try some new things. So I really liked Powtoon. Actually, it took a really long time, but and it was really frustrating to use, so maybe I didn't like it at the time. But I liked having made something which was more engaging, because I think my tech stuff, no one's going to read it. So if I have these ideas, it's kind of pointless having it in my head. So it's nice to be able to put something out there. And the Prezi one I didn't like so much because I was kind of stressed at the time, and I just did something kind of quickly. Well, it actually took a long time, but it's quicker than making a wise mapping, because that was taking me a really long time. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad that I tried them out, especially if I want to be like an online adult educator, because I need to know how to use these tools. So yeah, it was good to try things, and it was really nice to get some positive feedback. And I've been thinking, like, last ones, I've been like thinking critically about my comments on the first few weeks, and thinking maybe I was just being too supportive and not giving them anything, or like, I should be directing or critiquing or something. But actually having positive feedback from my friends on these last weeks has been really motivating. So maybe it's not so bad that that's what I was doing last time. But yeah, so that was cool. The only thing is that the feedback I was getting was like positive, but about my use of the tools, and not about the learning that I was trying to do, and I think, or the teaching that I was trying to do. So I guess mainly I've been focusing too much on the tools and spending too much time trying to make things. And then because I've been doing that, I've been losing the kind of teaching quality of the tools. I hadn't been as educational as I would have liked. So I had to kind of try and find a balance there of actually using tools to educate, and not using my educational content to explore the tools. I need to find a better balance, and that's the plan. Yes, so the week's topics were kind of cool this week. I really liked the issue of like different roles of the teacher, because I always resist the word teacher, which is funny, because that reading that I did was like about reclaiming the word teacher, but because I was used to teaching like a preschool and a primary school, it was all about like behavior management mainly, and I hated it, and I hated to be like an authority on something. So it kind of makes me uncomfortable to be a teacher. And the kind of teacher that I want to be is more like, I don't know, like an undercover radical, or even like a mentor or friend or something, like not a teacher. So yeah. So that was an interesting topic for me to reflect on and to think about this word. And then in terms of presence, that was really cool actually, because it made me think about, I'd never really wanted to be an online teacher before, because I really like talking to people in person, but it was really actually made it sound more possible, and it was actually really useful, and like kind of exciting really, like the advice from that guy who did the video about, like, it was really practical advice, like how you be present as a teacher in a learning community, and I really enjoyed reading that, and I thought the community of inquiry framework was really useful, and it made me maybe want to be an online teacher kind of thing. So that was exciting. And then the othering thing, like that's something that I'm particularly interested in. I'm very passionate about empathy and dialogue and understanding and human solidarity in general. And so I didn't do any like of these kind of tools, multimedia tool video stuff, because I just really wanted to I was really kind of passionate about it when I was reading it. So the topic was like, I found it useful, and like the article, the Habib one, and what you'd been saying about andragogy, it shows a particular type of person. So in that way, being othered is kind of, so the main majority group are othering somebody else, a minority probably, by imagining that there's a homogenous group, and so if I'm a teacher, then I would be like, if I'm othering, I might other somebody by assuming that all my adult learners are self-directive, or they're all very confident speaking English, or have the same cultural references as me, that kind of thing. So I could understand that, and I was like, this is a good thing to be learning about. But then the Farangi and Malik reading was like kind of different, because I felt like the people in it were othering kind of themselves, by othering the others and seeing themselves as different, which I think is a very different issue, and is very associated with the political social scenario. And I think like this is a really common thing to feel different, and it doesn't necessarily mean that other people are othering you, like that you can do that to yourself. And I think that should be like politicized within a discussion of neoliberalism and the consumer culture of feeling like inadequate. And that kind of came out in my post and in my comments on other people's posts. And I didn't really want to go off topic, but it was like something that I'm particularly passionate about, so I did kind of talk about that, probably too much. But yeah, no, I found it really interesting, and I kind of tried to apply the last few weeks more to online learning. But yeah, so I'm kind of glad with my posts and my comments more so, but I want my posts to be more educational than they have been, I guess. Particularly the first 2 weeks, they were mainly focused on using the tools. So I guess that's the next plan. And I think, do I have anything else to say? I always wanted to say, like, I like particularly from the last week, writing was better, because I just tried to sound like, I wasn't trying to sound like anything. I was just being me. And I think the fact that we were talking about othering and the academic other and that kind of stuff, and also with presence, about social presence, I just wanted to be myself in the learning environment. So I'm making more of a conscious effort, which is weird, but just to be like free to write, and it's a really nice feeling. And I noticed that I just sound like really weird on, like, everyone sounds really clever, and I always think that, and I'm just like blethering on like me, but that's who I am, so I'm not going to resist that anymore. So that's nice. But yeah, so see you soon. Bye.